You might think that finding an Airbnb property for under $500,000 that nets over $50,000 a year sounds impossible right now, but I'm here to tell you it's not. And no, you don't need to drop six figures on amenities to make it happen. So in this video, we're going to walk you through exactly how to find high cash flowing Airbnbs that don't break the bank. I'll even show you real live examples, break down the numbers, and share my exact framework you can use to spot these deals in today's market. Let me tell you about one of my favorite deals I've ever done. In 2022, when interest rates were already climbing and really high, I bought a property for $350,000 in a small New York town called Watkins Glen. I found the market using STR Insights, a tool I highly recommend. Now, what made this property special wasn't the size or the crazy design, it was the location right in the heart of the town, and more importantly, the regulations of that town. Watkins Glen had capped the number of legal short-term rentals based on available single-family homes, meaning competition would be low and stay low. In year one, I netted $42,000. That's net, not gross. The next year, I added a hot tub, which boosted winter occupancy and pushed my net to $55,000. In year three, I added a movie theater, and we crossed over $70,000 in income. The kicker? None of my competitors were using dynamic pricing, and most hadn't upgraded their listing in years. Just by staying ahead with some basic strategy and a few smart investments, we dominated the local market. So, how do you replicate the same success? I found that there are 5 core things I look for when I'm hunting for one of these unicorn deals. So let's dive into it. So number 1, the property needs to gross at least $100,000 or more. If your goal is to net $50,000 a year, you need to gross at least 6 figures, especially if you're financing that property. You'll have a mortgage, insurance, taxes, and management costs to cover, like cleaning and maintenance fees. To even be in the conversation, the property should have at least 3 bedrooms. 1 and 2 bedroom units almost never hit that 100K gross unless they're ultra luxury markets or you pay all cash for them. If you're buying at the top of your $500,000 budget, that property will need to gross at least $110,000 or more to make the numbers work after all the expenses. And it's doable, you just need to buy smart. Number 2, look in less competitive markets. Forget what's trending on Instagram or YouTube. The best deals are often under the radar markets, places with solid tourism, but less investor attention. When I say less competitive, I don't mean 0 properties and no Airbnbs in sight. I mean places where other hosts are cutting corners, meaning they don't have dynamic pricing, they have poor photography, they have outdated design, and the properties still look like grandma lives there. These types of markets offer a huge upside if you can come in with a better product, but don't chase these markets that everybody is hyping up online. Find the ones where people are showing up, but investors aren't. They don't need to have strict regulations like in Watkins Glen, but that can certainly help as well. At number 3, invest in strategic design and amenities. You don't need to go overboard, especially in these types of markets, but you do need to make your property stand out. Simple upgrades go a long way. For example, fresh paint and updated flooring, make it look clean and give it a modern design. Strategic amenities based on your target guests can also elevate the revenue as well. Always ask yourself, what would my ideal guests love that they can't find in the market right now? That could be a game room for families, a hot tub for couples, or simply a workspace for remote workers. You're not just decorating, you're solving a problem that your guests have that will elevate their stay. Also, don't overextend your down payment just to max out your purchase price. Leave room in your budget for the furnishing, design, light upgrades, and of course, the amenities like I already talked about. That's what will drive bookings and eventually repeat stays. Number 4, you need to negotiate on the purchase of the property like a pro. Don't buy at the top of the market. The best deals often come from properties that have been sitting for a while. Here's what I like to look for. Listings with 30+ days on the market, poorly marketed properties, outdated decor that scares away other buyers, and then I go in and try to negotiate with the sellers. Ask for the seller credits to cover closing costs or buy down your interest rate. If your property appraises, those credits will let you keep more cash in your pocket for upgrades and operating reserves, and even amenities. Here's a pro tip. Always make your offer contingent on inspections and the permit approval if required. Always protect yourself. Okay, so the fifth and final core thing you need to look for, the property needs a revenue hook. Every great short-term rental has one big thing that drives revenue. I call it the revenue hook. That might be a mountain view, a 5-minute walk to downtown, waterfront access or views of water, or even just a unique architectural style of the property. If the property doesn't have a hook, it's going to be really hard to get it to gross over $100,000 unless you go really, really heavy on amenities. And that can get expensive. So for example, a basic condo on a ski hill might seem great and inexpensive, but unless you buy in cash, it's probably not going to net you $50,000. You need something that makes the property irreplaceable in the eyes of the guests amongst the sea of other rentals out there. Okay, so those are the 5 tips, but here's a final and bonus tip for you. I love to look for deals with former bed and breakfasts. Here's a wild card most people ignore. Former bed and breakfast properties have really high bedroom count and bathroom counts. These homes are often in amazing locations and often have features STR guests love, like lots of bedrooms, tons of bathrooms, big kitchens, and common areas. They usually have been undervalued because they look dated and need some updating. Most investors overlook them. So if you're willing to put in a little bit of sweat equity, update the design, convert it back to a single family layout, you can create an incredible STR that outperforms everything else in the area. I've seen people take these properties and turn them into 70, 80, even 100K net income machines, all under $500,000. And here are my final thoughts. So let's recap the 5 core things we're looking for if you want your property cash flow 50K for under a $500,000 purchase price. So number 1, you need to look for properties that can gross at least $100,000. Number 2, stay out of overly saturated hot markets. Number 3, invest in design and guest experience. Number 4, be smart about your negotiations. And finally, number 5, make sure the property has a revenue hook. And don't forget to keep an eye out for those hidden gems like former B&Bs. These deals are still out there. You just have to know where to look and be willing to do the work and stay disciplined with your numbers. Now, if you got value from this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what markets you're looking at. I'd love to hear where you're searching for your next deal. I'll see you on the next one.